last week on Gleeboot, there was an evil Sue doll that was trying to make Kurt and Blaine make out in a hidden elevator with a bathroom. And there was a completely pointless invitationals that someone named like Winston or Chad or whoever was in Vocal Adrenaline said he really cared about. And Kitty said, I don't want to join Glee Club because Rachel's going to abandon us for New York the moment she gets a chance. And then she joined anyway. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Totally forgot about that Kitty thing. Wow.
It was all I could think of.
Honestly, proven correct.
Gleeboot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We have a lot of glues to get into. So I'm just going to say it. Welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee one episode at a time. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
And I'm Hannah.
And today we have special returning guests, Ian and Corrina of Glee Aggressive.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having us back.
Yes, this is a thrill.
We enjoy.
This is my first time, so I'm loving
Yes,
it.
Yeah. We enjoy
Feels
being
like the first time.
the ghost of Christmas future, showing you the horrors that await.
I was watching Ian's face when you were recapping, and it was...
I forgot that the recap was also part of this episode, and it made just as much sense, which is to say that to me, it made absolutely zero sense. And then when I'm hearing the SparkNotes version of that recap, I'm like, I am truly lost and confused. So thank you.
We're watching it. We're lost and confused.
Yeah, it's
Valid.
the only
Very
place
true.
to be. There's no escape.
Like, you're about to start, season 4 soon. And I'm going to tell you something. Treasure season 4. Yeah, it's not as good as season 2 and 3 by a long shot. But, it is better than 5 and 6 by a long shot. Because
Season 4 could basically be subtitled Season 4. It could get worse.
it could get worse. And it does.
It will get worse.
Subtitle, it does.
Not as bad as you thought it was when you were watching it the first time.
Because I think season 4 still roughly had a vibe that there were stakes. And honestly, most of season 5 and so far all of season 6 has really just felt like filler. I feel like I'm watching filler till we fill an episode quota and end. Like, because I don't know what the filling is in between, right? Like, It's just like filler on, it's like you made a cake, you frosted it, and you put more filling on top, and you just kept going until it reached like a certain number of inches.
That's the worst kind of cake.
Yeah, there's like layers of like fondant or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say fondant. Like a lot of people are pro frosting. I'm not pro frosting, but like fondant, I don't think anyone loves fondant. It's like, it's good for decorating. It tastes meh,
Yeah.
So,
Thank you for saying what we're all thinking and being so brave.
Thank you. You know what? I'm here to say the things that people are scared to say, fondant, meh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Siren.
Hey, our old friends, Sirens.
Our old friends, Sirens from the Odyssey.
Okay. Glues.
Okay, glues. First, this isn't really glues, but it's related. Taylor Swift and Carly Rae Jepsen both released new albums, causing me to have to reorg the Gleeboot pitch that we are doing at the end because those are the two artists getting their own episode. But I also saw Carly Rae Jepsen in concert.
Ooh.
I saw her get a sword. She sang Call Me Baby Glee cast version. It was the best concert I've ever seen, and getting in and out of the venue was actually like not a living hell. So thank you, Greek Theater.
Very nice.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah,
That was some personal glues.
Some personal glues, because it is still a crime that they only covered that one song, but there's so much other glues going on.
So much glues.
Including the Blue's Clues movie starring all 3 Steves. But
whoa. Now
yeah,
that's blues
Are you
news.
messing with us?
no, they're
That's
actually,
what
I
they
saw the trailer. Yeah, it's like they're having all 3 Steves together. And I'm like, Spider-Man No Way Home who?
That in the Blue's Clues canon, all 3 Steves, who are not all named Steve, are all cousins.
Oh, yeah,
Like
sure.
that is
Yes.
why they're passing this dog around, their family.
That makes sense.
Is this dog like genetically engineered to live super long or something?
Yeah.
It is blue.
She's made out of.
That's true.
She's made out of felt.
Blue and magenta, genetically engineered.
She's a GMO. So yeah, glues. Our first thing is a reference to when we were talking about how Karofsky and Blaine technically shouldn't be dating, quote unquote, because they're actually third cousins. Unofficial Gleeboot correspondent and lost guest of the podcast, Katie. She actually sent us some info about this Icelandic dating app that has a filter like feature to make sure that you're not dating someone you're related to, because it's, a very small country, small genetic gene pool, I guess. So if you want to read up on that, very interesting. Too bad that Lima, Ohio didn't have that. Okay, the other thing that we have to talk about is actual glues. So Discovery Plus is doing a docu-series on the making of Glee, and it's probably just going to be a Lea Michele bitch fest. And by that, I mean people bitching about Lea Michele, which you can find thousands of clips on YouTube of, but this is professional quality.
And they've
This
been
is official.
It's official. And
Yes.
when asked about it, Jenna Ushkowitz said, I don't have anything nice to say, so I'm not going to say anything at all.
For her.
When asked about the documentary series, or when asked about,
so it's the way it was worded is it's vague. I can't tell if she's like, I'm not going to be part of this documentary because I don't have anything nice to say.
Is that a quote from the documentary?
Or yeah, exactly. Is she saying that about her time on Glee, or is she saying that about like maybe she doesn't like the documentary and what they're trying to do?
Right.
Yeah. So.
So she's just going to appear. There's a chance she's just going to appear and it's just going to be her face just sitting there being like, yeah, I'm here. So just like she did on Glee, because that's all they decided to give her.
Also, both Jenna and Kevin were on RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race, which I have literally only watched one episode in my life when my friends were watching it at the bar. And I was like, okay, that's Kevin McHale. And then I'm like, okay, that's Jenna Ushkowitz. But then I'm like, there can't be two Glee cast members. I just like might be dumb or something. I think
they're like, we have to do everything together. Like if you get one of us, you get both of us, which I love that. That's great. And then, so we know Lea Michele is on Broadway. I don't know if anyone watched her Good Morning America performance of Don't Rain on My Parade. Didn't think it was very good. It sounded like she was screaming, but I actually don't think it's her fault. It's probably because she's performing outside, and that sucks.
I mean, was it better than her Glee performance?
No.
Okay.
And so I have two things in response to that, if I may.
Absolutely.
One, not to defend Lea Michele by any means, but like I understand when those like morning show performances are not great because like you just finished a show, you got out of the theater at 11 o'clock at night, and you got to wake up at 4 a.m. the next day to belt your face off. It's not going to be pretty.
So speaking of Lea Michele being on Broadway, Chris Colfer was asked if he was actually going to go see her, and he said pretty much like the best thing that anyone has ever said about anything. Quote, I can get triggered at home. Literally the best excuse. So good. Yes. Claps. Chris Colfer, thank you.
Is that, I was honestly surprised because I thought she might have actually been friends with Chris.
I don't know.
Here's my thoughts. And this is like conjecture.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
This is all just like my like bullshit like fandom brain working.
I think the documentary is really missing out on having that kind of insider scoop. Yeah.
Based on like the vibes I've seen, I feel like Darren Criss and Chris Colfer were not like super close.
No.
And I don't know if they necessarily liked each other outside of filming.
No, yeah.
And Lea Michele and Darren Criss remain very close because they're both part of the Ryan Murphy Extended Universe.
They've been on tour together too.
Yeah, so I'm feeling like Chris Colfer's like, I'm good out here. Like,
she
chose her side, kind of like she's like, I'm gonna stay with Darren Criss.
Yeah.
And Chris Colfer's like, that's fine. I'm gonna go do anything else, basically.
Because I think when I think of how they're like connected now, like I feel like Leah connects to Darren, and Darren connects to Cord, and then Cord connects to like Kevin and Jenna and Amber Riley and like the rest of them as a group, and they connect to Heather, and so yeah.
It's so complicated. I can't even get my own life straight. How are you doing this with other people that you don't know?
I don't need to be right about it. It's just a guess. It's just like, this is what I get from Instagram.
That's true.
Because remember the concert when we saw Cord in concert?
Yeah.
Like later in the residency, he had Darren come and perform with him.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, but it was a surprise, a blam reunion. And I'm like,
how was Cord live?
He was actually really good.
He was good. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
He walked right in front of me as I was leaving the bathroom because it's this tiny little venue, and he just like walked right in front of me. I was like,
I almost touched him.
I know.
You should have just stuck out a hand.
I know, but see, it was because it wasn't like a big concert. It would have been so weird because he was literally just like hanging out with his friends who were like, oh my gosh, we came to see like.
I remember his friends. They were hilarious.
It was like all his friends and like me and Allyssa. And, like,
yeah, pretty much.
It was like people that personally knew him, and they're making jokes about the Justin Bieber experience.
I feel like it was wasn't that the first time he performed like since COVID shut everything down? Yeah, so it was pretty small.
Yeah, I just got like either he posted it to his story or I got an ad or something, and I was just like, Allyssa, do you want to it's $15. Let's go see Core.
Yep.
He did an impression too, so.
He's contractually obligated in his everyday life.
I'll see if he does one in the Lindsay Lohan movie.
Please report back.
We will. We may do an episode on it. We'll see. Okay, where were we? So that's all the glues. Is there any other glues?
That's all the glues.
All the glues.
Yeah. I can get triggered at home though. It is truly so iconic.
That's just powerful.
Very.
Yeah.
And it's so like, it's just like a shrug. It's just like a shrug. It's like careless. Like, I don't even give a fuck. I love it.
And the Jenna Ushkowitz of it all is fascinating to me because I feel like, I know, like, of course, they were in Spring Awakening together. Like, they have had a bit of a comeuppance together, but I also feel like they might have, like, grown up by each other or, like, grew up with each other in some capacity.
Yeah.
So, like, Jenna knows.
Yeah.
Well, because Leah was on Kevin and Jenna's podcast in the initial run at one point, talking about the pilot.
Like their first guest, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, so they're not entirely, it's almost like Samantha Ware speaking out, like broke a dam, and they all felt like, okay, I guess we can be honest now. I don't know. Samantha Ware, who did not feature in this episode very much.
Yeah, which is a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it makes allegedly, I think that maybe this is sort of where possibly the effects of Leah Michelle's, her influence may be having an impact. So allegedly.
Yeah, we know nothing. You can, if you put us in that documentary, we'll all say, literally, I just get in front of a mic and talk.
I literally just say bullshit.
I watched Glee because I was invited to be on a podcast. This podcast. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Just be glad I'm not using a podcast platform for misogyny like all the other men in the world.
I don't know. Glee's pretty misogynist.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we? Hashtag Glee hates girls. Okay, what the world needs now, which whenever I hear that title, I get stuck in my head, the What the World Needs from the Ride the Cyclone, which randomly became trending. So it's a weird musical.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me neither. Sorry.
I'm on that side of TikTok. I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Cullen's like, thank you.
I've made Wicked references here and gotten blank stares, and I'm like, this is a Glee podcast.
See, no, that would be my wheelhouse at least. I would get your Wicked references.
Yeah, it's a very niche musical that just blew up on TikTok, and I listened to the whole thing, and like the viral song is like the good song, and all the other ones are like, okay.
Why these didn't blow up on TikTok?
Yeah. Okay. It's what the world needs.
Now,
what are we drinking today?
Oh yeah.
I'll go first. It's boring. I'm drinking water because I have to drive.
Oh,
me too. Except I don't have to drive. I just forgot that this was a show about alcohol and Glee, and I ran home from work and forgot to pick something up.
You know, I often forget that was a central part of our initial premise. It's gotten like
now we don't even like get drunk. Like I did a couple weeks ago. I was like, I can never do that again. Well, on the podcast, I got drunk. I drank a whole bottle of wine.
I might get drunk today.
Last weekend, got drunk at a wedding.
Where someone may or may not have been present.
Where someone may or may not have been present. Yes. I did not. Well,
what?
I didn't want to make this wedding about anything other than my friends, but a Mr. Jeff Foxworthy, known Southern comedian, was there. They're like family friends. So that was fun. I shook his hand at the end of the night.
That you could have possibly named, that was like bottom third of my list.
That's how I texted. I think that's how I texted you guys. I was like, you'll literally never guess who's sitting at a table in front of me. So, because there are no other guesses. But yeah, he did like starting the lawnmower dances. He's very charming. Didn't talk to him because I was drunk and I didn't want to make a fool of myself. I also didn't want him to be like, you might be a redneck if so. Don't want to have that happen to my face.
But you don't want to be a punchline for one of his
no
shows.
No thanks. Even if I was, I'd never know because I don't really watch his stuff. So
I don't know. That might be like a highlight of my life. A famous comedian just like
made fun of me.
Just like in their regular set list, I'm one of the stories. What?
That's true. That's true. That would be kind of cool. I'm drinking some tea because allergies are kicking my ass. It's a Miracle Tree Moringa organic superfood tea. It's supposedly an Earl Grey. It doesn't taste or smell like Earl Grey, but it's all right. And water.
I am also dual drinking, which is to say I have about 3 sips left of a delicious Joe's tea, half and half. And then we'll move to this half-drunk berry-flavored Propel.
Whoa, getting crazy.
Oh, God. That just... I just flashed back to 2005 for a second.
Yeah. You know they still make Propel?
I do now. Thank you.
Yep. When regular water is just not quite enough. Gatorade water is here for you.
Oh.
So I guess I'm the only one drinking.
We salute you.
Thank you. I don't have anywhere else to this. I have errands to do at home. So I'm like, okay. I'm drinking strawberry tart hard cider. And I think it looks like I'm about to drink this whole bottle. It is from Oak Glen, which is a place in like the California mountains where they have the California mountains. That's not what they're called. It's just in the mountains, like an hour out of LA. And they have like a bunch of apple orchards and pumpkin patches. And we went there for our fall picks.
Love it.
It sounds really yummy.
Yeah, my husband's dream is to be a fall Pinterest influencer. So,
oh my god, all year round.
Yeah. His February birthday was fall themed.
I love that.
Love that.
All right. So we've talked about Glee Aggressive's Gurney in the past, and they have a whole podcast where you can hear about it. So we'll just jump into the episode. Am I missing anything? Yeah, we're just gonna. This episode really doesn't have a lot of storylines. I was thinking about that as I was driving home.
So much music, though. It's like they stuffed 5 episodes worth of music. Because like last episode,
not only is it
songs.
I know, but it's like it's a full episode full of elevator music.
Yeah.
I mean, Burt Bacharach.
That's
Why? Why do we need this?
Hits.
That's the thing with a Burt Bacharach themed episode is that really we've been talking about in season 6. Are those birds really loud? Or
I can hear them.
They're chattering a lot. They love.
They're delightful.
Love Glee.
Okay.
It's honestly fine.
Okay,
Seriously, Cullen,
yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just hanging out in the tree. Because I closed the window that's close to the road.
Because he's a Disney prince.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you.
They're actually fluttering. Listeners, you can't see that they're fluttering behind him. It's very casual.
Yeah, they're just making
They're doing the
outfit.
chores for him.
Yeah.
They're letting him get drunk on a Saturday.
Thanks, birds. Yeah, so it's just season 6 has really felt like they have a list of themes and songs they wanted to get to and never did. So they're really just throwing them in.
And it's fast. I mean, for context, in case you don't know, in our podcast, Corrina's seen Glee. I have not. So I am walking into like less than minimal context Glee at this one. So I've only seen all of the first 3 seasons, plus 1 episode in season 5 with all of you, and now this episode. And so right off the bat, they're like, a Burt Bacharach theme this week. And I'm like, y'all were really out of ideas.
Right? Burt Bacharach feels real bottom of the barrel. Like, no offense to Mr. Burt Bacharach, but
none at all.
I feel like his relevance peaked when he was referenced in the Austin Powers movies, and that was
when we were kids.
That was a while ago. So
yeah, he's not even like the artist who sings these songs. He's just a composer and writer, right? So it's like, it's such a. It is like bottom of the barrel. Like, we're not even gonna do artists. We're gonna do the writer and composer.
Yeah, like that'd be
boring.
You could have at least done like a Stephen Schwartz week or an Alan Menken week or
anybody with musicals from like this century. Like, this was 2015. There was plenty of source material to draw from.
Oh yeah.
If you want to do like a composer that has a bunch of different random things.
Season 6, Glee didn't have the budget. I think. Burt Bacharach's yes, maybe. Exposure. Thank you.
Burt Bacharach is like, you can use my songs for free. You just have to say my name on your podcast
1,000 times.
So.
Yeah, it's because, it's not like these are bad songs. Like, I think one song, like one Burt Bacharach song in an episode, sure, but like a whole episode of them, it just, if you're gonna do all one artist, it has to be like a really, like Michael Jackson, Madonna. Why those are the only tribute episodes that I can remember right now.
They did Billy Joel, but that was like a poor...
That was rough. The Beatles ones were rough.
Yeah, get ready for that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like kind of a season 6 apologist. I think because at this point they don't care anymore, and it shows in sort of like a fun way.
Yeah.
This episode is kind of the low point of already like wild bad season, and I'm like, this one, especially coming off of the Hurt Locker, which is just like bad shit and also a competition, and then like, oh, and now you're just Burt Bacharach, huh? Okay.
Okay.
It's like, this is the episode you could go get up, go get a drink,
Yeah.
Come back, you haven't missed much.
I felt like I was walking through a department store or something. Like,
that truly is the energy.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
And like, I don't know his catalog super well, but like, no one's asking for promises. There's a reason that Revival didn't do so well. Sorry, Kristen Chenoweth and Sean Hayes. And no shade to them. Love them both. Yeah. And to like songs that like aside from like the final one, What the World Needs Now, I feel like no one has really been like seeking those songs out in some time. So just the catalog of music in this episode is just kind of not just no one's asking for it.
Yeah, even if they were asking for it, they'd be asking for the specific artist rendition, not because it's Burt Bacharach.
You know what this episode is?
So weird.
It's a collection of songs. Each of them show up in a rom-com, like separately. Like all of these songs are sad montages in like rom-coms, and they said, we'll just take all of those and put them all in one episode.
So this isn't a great idea for a Glee episode, but if you want to do like old timey like show tunes, kind of like Rodgers and Hammerstein, right, is like the iconic. And I don't really want like a Glee cover of 10 minutes ago and must have done something good. Like I'm not really asking for that, but like at least I would know those songs, and it connects with stories that are still well known and beloved and in community theaters across America.
Well, but he's a pop composer. That's the thing. Well, so it's like
both. Back in there was less of a line in those.
Right. But he's just like, I don't know. This episode feels like we were saying earlier, it's just filler on top of filler.
Yeah.
And there are no stakes. Like except for like one storyline has emotional stakes.
And this is before Pasek and Paul really were like, there will no longer be a division between musical theater and pop music.
And like to your point, like Hannah, sorry. For a second I was like, what's your name? I'm sorry. Sorry. It's right on my screen. If you wanted to do that kind of thing where you're talking about the writer composer of all these well-known songs, like there are just so many better, like Carole King. Like I know we have Beautiful the Musical, but that could have been its own thing. I'm afraid of Cullen's reaction right now.
You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie.
Did I just like curse myself?
Maybe.
Sure did.
Depends on how you feel about Carole King.
And Alanis.
Oh no. Oh God. And I've seen both of those musicals IRL, so. Anyway,
I know the meme of the week. No, but I think that's a good point. There are other pop composers that would be more relevant. I mean, right now, the only one that's coming to my head is a super problematic person who they should not do an episode on, who they've probably done a million of his songs already, which is that Dr. Luke or whatever.
Right.
Oh.
The one that Kesha hopefully destroyed forever. But I think someone did work with him recently, and it was like, yikes. Yeah. Was it Dula Peep? I'm trying to remember. No, it was Kim Petras, I think.
Dula Peep.
Is that your nickname for Dua Lipa?
That's Wendy Williams' nickname for Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so there's really only two plots this week. There's Rachel trying to get back out there with her emotional support Black person, and there's
Brittana.
Yeah, Brittany and Santana and
trying to convince Abuela to go to the wedding.
Yeah.
That's really it.
That is it.
You've got your mini like Sam, Mercedes, Rachel, like romance.
Oh right, yeah.
But that's all kind of part of the Rachel plot.
Yeah, it's the Rachel show today.
Sam Sadie's Joel.
And Sadie's Joel. So let's talk. So our listeners, people have been commenting that they really love this episode, and I think it's because of the Brittana stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair.
I guess.
Which, if I were to have a nickel for every time in the last 24 hours, I watched a piece of media where a femme, ditzy, bisexual really tells off an old person for being homophobic, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice in the last 24 hours.
What else did you watch?
I was listening to the podcast audio drama, The Two Princes.
Okay.
Yeah. And this girl sings a song about this homophobic man, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah, for me, the storyline and actually like also the Rachel stuff, it kind of just felt like an after school special.
Yeah,
kind of like very cliche and tropey, mostly like feel good content, which is like fine, but
they really should have had
no substance.
This today, Brittany would have sang "You Need to Calm Down" by Taylor Swift.
She so would have.
Maybe.
Oh God, yeah.
Right to Abuela Lopez's face
with a mashup of "I Forgot That You Existed."
And now, like nowadays, there are so many like LGBTQ plus like forward artists with like that, their music being about that, like they would have had a field day today.
Yeah.
On that kind of concept.
Yeah, because we just had Alfie.
Yeah.
I forgot about that song.
I forgot about it. Having just watched the episode, I have subsequently already forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We had a John Denver Christmas CD with the Muppets that I didn't really care for as a kid, but in it there's a song called Alfie the Singing Christmas Tree or something about like Alfie's this tree's dreams for world peace. It's rough. But that's all I could think of. She's like singing this song and it's wild.
I see that they do a song called Alfie. I always think it's the Lily Allen song.
Yes, that's what this whole time I'm like, is that what we're talking about?
It never is. And I get excited. I'm like, okay, I'd like to see Glee do that. And then they just didn't do that song.
No. So we just keep avoiding talking about this plot because it's boring.
Let's go.
I know. Alyssa needs to get to that pumpkin
I have
patch.
places to be.
So we can get through this pretty quickly, essentially.
Yeah.
Famous last words. But they're talking about Brittany finds out that her dad is Stephen Hawking.
Oh, yeah.
We find out that her dad might be Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
And her mom is Jennifer Coolidge, which so makes sense.
I
Thank you,
do
Jennifer Coolidge, with blessing us with your presence.
The joke of like Jennifer Coolidge playing against type and being like the reasonable parent.
I loved it. It was so great.
Also, I love that Brittany, like, so my theory from the beginning was that Brittany's the smartest one on this series. And I felt so validated when she was doing like legitimate math, like calculations and stuff. And yeah, I love that for her and for all of us.
It's so funny because like clearly her dad is her real dad is super smart, Stephen Hawking. So she's secretly very smart, but then she's also very dumb because her dad that she grew up around isn't very smart.
Versus nurture.
And she also
that's such a complex thing they don't answer. I love it. It's so weird.
And she went to that high school where the Spanish teacher can't speak Spanish until he's replaced by Ricky Martin. Because that's Ricky Martin. Yeah. And who may or may not have had a thing with his nephew. We don't want to talk about that. But
we're allegedly not talking
that
about.
news dropped like a couple weeks or maybe like the week after we recorded that episode of the Spanish.
That's right.
Oh my God.
That's
like, well,
you guys are like, I love Ricky Martin. He's the best. Oh, yikes.
Yeah. So Brittany's just like, oh my gosh. And because she got mad because Jennifer Coolidge got mad because Ken Jeong couldn't properly explain whether he was virile or sterile. So she then went to the bathroom and for whatever reason saw Stephen Hawking in the bathroom and had sex with him.
Okay, is that how this story went? Okay, did she do this on their honeymoon?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, I got that part right. That I was having such a hard time following the story. All I got from it was that she had sex with Stephen Hawking on their honeymoon and Brittany was born.
And that's fair because that's all we get of that. She mentioned Stephen Hawking one more time towards the end of the episode, but like all of that like first 5 minutes was for nothing, more or less.
Yeah, there's no stakes. Nothing comes out of that because that scene ends with,
I have news. Dad, which I thought was not nice.
Right.
It was not nice.
He seems like a nice dude.
And memory problems are not associated with lower, like, Jesus Christ, low IQs.
Yeah.
I would like to say this as a person with memory problems.
And a high IQ.
And Ryan Murphy really should.
I don't know.
I think it's probably higher than 60, but yeah.
I mean, I don't think Ryan Murphy should be talking about anyone's memory problems because does he remember anything that's happened before on Glee?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So like this scene ends with her being like, oh yeah, I have news too. Santana and I are getting married.
And like she didn't tell them right away.
And then that's it. Like this is just the weirdest scene. It doesn't make any sense.
They were super happy when they found out she was getting married though. And that was really cute and nice. I loved their reaction.
Also, I'm glad that they do address the fact that like Ken Jeong is Brittany's dad, so she's half Asian ? And the second I write that note, they were like, "Nah, it's Stephen Hawking," and I was like, "Not better."
No.
Yeah.
That means she's also a British citizen.
Good for her.
She should be. They probably have to register it now, but she could get 2 passports, one for the U.S. and one for Great Britain.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I was working overtime today, so I didn't have time to make the detailed notes I was like, I need to make, because right now at this point, like, Glee is just like evaporating from my mind the moment I watch it. Deborah Messing, was that in the storyline? I can't remember.
Yeah, she says something about that's
all
later.
She's thinking about is Deborah,
Deborah Messing,
Deborah
and
Messing,
I was like,
from the movie Bros,
from the show Smash. Her 2 most notable roles.
So Brittany is talking with Santana, and she's like, you should invite your abuela. You really love her. And Santana talks about like playing wedding with her. And it's actually a lot of the emotional stuff with Brittany and Santana in this arc is like effective. You're like, like you get that she has this complicated relationship where she really loves and admires this woman, but she's also really hurt by her rejecting her. And her name is Alma, which I'm like, she's Alba.
Too close to Alba.
On Jane the Virgin. Like, can we have a slightly different abuela name?
I literally had to rewind it and put on the closed captions, be like, I'm sorry, did they just steal Jane the Virgin's character name? No, okay, Alma. Still too close.
And these were happening around the same time, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blah.
So Brittany essentially pretends to be a nurse, which this is giving very season 1 Glee, actually.
Yes.
I was like, this actually kind of like makes sense in the world of Glee. It's not completely absurd. It's like completely absurd, but not like.
This storyline specifically feels like it came from a earlier season of Glee, and they just stuck it in the 6th season.
Because there's like real emotional stakes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she like opens the door and she's like, Abuela Lopez, I died. I was like, what? I love this.
And she eventually just kind of like charms her way in, and then is like, can we just watch telenovelas?
Yeah, she's like, do you mind? Like, I cannot miss my telenovelas. Like, she does it with an accent, and all of a sudden, she can speak Spanish, apparently.
Yeah.
Good for her. Right. I'm almost on a year of Duolingo.
She learned it at MIT, I guess. I mean, where?
Or maybe like the minute a Spanish-speaking Spanish teacher entered the high school, Brittany caught on.
Honestly, you know what? It probably was Ricky Martin, who was like, Brittany, you're not stupid. Like, I know you
smart.
can do this.
You just
and then
learned
just starts
Spanish
speaking Spanish to her. Yeah, and she just starts repeating right back. Like, she's so smart.
I do feel like I could not tell you when or where, but I do feel like there was one time where she just says the line like, and I'm smarter than all of you. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I feel like she says that at one point.
She just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did.
She doesn't like the school system, and who can blame her? Yeah.
I mean, Corrina and I talk about all the time on our podcast how the education system in this specific town is clearly garbage.
Yeah, like the amount of characters in this show who are like abnormally dumb is a lot.
Can we blame them?
Like Finn was dumb, and then Sam was dumb, and then Brittany was dumb, and Puck was dumb, and Mercedes didn't know what broccoli was, and you're like, oh
right,
yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, because Mercedes is usually like one of the like more real,
like adult,
yeah. So then they're watching the telenovelas, and she sees the ring. Abuela sees the ring, and it's like, oh, you're engaged, tell me about your husband. And Brittany kind of evades, and they talk, and so they're becoming friends, and she asks her to go on fondue for 2. Queso por dos.
Love that.
Which she sold to Univision for 2 seasons.
Get your money, Brittany. Good for you, girl.
It keeps this bit keeps getting better. It's so good.
That's the thing is, I think if Glee was made now, they would do it to the point where it's bad. But like, Brittany should have been an influencer. the whole time because there's the whole plot. Remember, I think it was season 2 where Rachel wanted her to wear her clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything about Brittany just makes total sense as an influencer because it's like Paris Hilton, like my brand is to be dumb, but in order to run this brand, I have to be very smart.
Yep.
So yeah, and because then eventually like she's like, I'm meeting my Latino fans. And like signing stuff for them, which reminds me of usually if Rafa walks in while I'm watching Glee, he's like, why are you watching white supremacy? So they're so she has the abuela on and is asking about like, how did you meet the love of your life? And she's like, well, my first husband, like Pedro Lopez, was my high school sweetheart, and then he died in Vietnam. And then my second husband, whose last name was also Lopez, we met and fell in love, and we were married for years and years and years. So so Santana's just watching her abuela in a coffee shop, watching Fondue for Two, just like listening to her abuela talk about love, and it's just like, what? So Brittany did not tell her.
Because like abuela's thing on there is like, oh, like family comes first, like they're your blood, they're always going to be there for you and stuff like that. So like, but I don't remember how the conversation went to that. It just kind of feels like it came out of nowhere.
Because she talked about eloping. And she's like, no, you have to be there with your friend, your family to support you.
That's right.
What I do appreciate about like this scene specifically is she calls back to the nursing home production of Peter Pan, which was the last episode that Corrina and I guested on here. So I don't know if you did that on purpose.
No, but I saw that when she did that. She was like, you can play Peter Pan. And like it had nursing home production. And I was like, oh my God.
I know a guy.
I appreciate that.
I would also like to highlight, I think, the star of this particular scene and a couple other scenes, Lord Covington, was just incredible. He was
playing with a piñata and reading.
By the way, reading. Your cats are reading.
We got a ton of reaction shots from him this episode. It was great.
He got to eat tuna on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, I
think a dream sequence.
Oh, yeah. I forget it. Because I'm like, okay, we're following but there is this scene where she's like, Artie, welcome to my bedroom. And Artie's like, we dated. And she's like, I think I'd remember dating someone with glasses. And she's like, I want you to be my wedding planner. And they're going over themes. And it's like, they're talking about heaven. And she sings this, I think it's Dionne Warwick, the loving, wishing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have this fantasy with Blaine and Sam are also in it.
Swinging around.
There's a ton of people in it. This is probably the highest production value we've seen in a song in a while.
Yeah.
For this.
I know.
But I mean, she deserves it.
Forget that it's another Artie, Kevin McHale can actually walk.
I
always forget that there's another one. And it's like,
So like if this is Brittany's dream sequence, like I guess it makes sense that she like has Artie walking because she didn't even remember that they dated. So like I guess that makes sense.
She doesn't remember the
But does he still wear glasses? I feel like he shouldn't be wearing glasses in that scene.
That's funny.
That would have been a better joke.
But when she first is like, yeah, I want you to be the wedding planner, I was like, why? And then she's like, oh, well, you're a director. And I was like, okay, I can see the logic, I guess.
She's like, you haven't had much to do. But isn't he also supposed to be in New York at film school?
Oh, yes.
Aren't they all supposed to be somewhere else, Cullen?
Yeah, when he showed up, I was like, how did they justify Artie being in town right now? Because like Kurt's doing a thesis and Rachel's depressed. Sam works there, but I'm like, why? How did Artie get here?
dropped out maybe. I think it was revealed in a previous episode that Brittany can open portals with her mind or something.
Yeah.
Nice, good.
Yeah. So probably that.
The thing is, like, I don't know if you're being facetious as yourself or if this was a bit in the show or if this is like show canon. I'm just gonna wait.
Just gonna wait. And it's kind of,
and then when it comes up, and when it comes up, if it comes up, I'm going to be like, why does that sound familiar? Because I too have memory problems.
Yeah, so they sang that. So Artie's, because she's like, being with Santana makes me feel like I'm in heaven, but also we could do Underworld. And
it was funny.
So Underworld is in the place or the movie series? Because I'm in both as a wedding. With Kate Beckinsale, of course.
Yeah.
So also, there's a Lady Tubbington we find out here.
Yes, there's been Lady Tubbington. Yeah,
you haven't met Lady Tubbington yet. Oh my goodness.
No.
It feels like for ages that they've been together. They seem to have a happy marriage.
Yes,
I'm
but
happy for them.
You will be upset in the episode when you meet her, because I don't remember which episode that is. So
damn it.
Yeah. That's gonna. That was been looming over my mind for a while.
Yeah.
I literally don't even remember.
Don't know either.
There were just like, from the moment I started the podcast, there were several episodes I was like, oh fuck, we're gonna talk about this.
Yep.
The first was the Finn saying the F word.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was the first one I was dreading. And then there are other things you realize I should have been dreading this, but yeah. So she convinces the abuela, her name's Alma. We're just calling her abuela, but she convinced. I bet in the script though it just says abuela.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure it does.
So she brings her to this auditorium and she's like, "Oh, do you like work here? Your fiance work here?" And she's like, "No, I just want you to like sit down." And then Santana.
It's a surprise for you. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Santana's there. She starts singing Alfie. Brittany eventually joins her. Everyone, I think except Rachel, who's auditioning, is there, including these
the students.
The students who don't really know this woman.
And are in the world of Glee, of the Glee Club, they should be the ones leading these weekly assignment projects. And here they are doing the work of 21-year-olds and their personal lives.
Yeah,
they got nothing this week.
They've not really gotten anything this season,
which is a shame.
So bad.
I quite like them.
Yeah, but like I also don't care about them because the show doesn't care. So it's like I want more of them, but I also am like, take it or leave it, I guess.
You know how there's that show Kevin Can Fuck Himself that's like about like a sitcom wife like breaking. Mm-hmm. I want one about like a late season teen drama add-on. Ooh. Like everyone just treats my life like it's like in between filler between like other people's lives who've already graduated. Why are they still at this school? Like,
I mean, y'all are writers. Get on it. Like, I love that.
All right, who are we picking? Roderick or Jane? Or should we just do both?
Yeah,
Jane.
They notice together that their side characters and the twins or whatever are like, no, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And postmodern gay is also like in on the real world. It's like, yeah, no, this is it. I'm a cool jock. I don't abide by other rules. Yeah.
These
I love
characters
this.
in the show.
They are characters in the show.
You've seen several of them in this episode.
Right.
Yeah, I bet you would know.
Exactly. I know there is a kitty and she exists. Could not pick her up. She could walk into my apartment and punch me in the face. Wouldn't know who she is.
Yeah.
She would do that too. That sounds like Kitty.
You will
again cursed.
You're gonna meet Kitty soon, and you're just gonna. That ruined my life.
I can't believe we have to start season 4 soon.
Corrina, thank you for taking this adventure with me.
Yeah, and so Abuela is just like, I still won't come to your wedding because Santana's like, you taught me how to be a strong Latino woman. I want you there at my wedding. Like, I love you. I forgive you. I just want you there. And she's like, I love you, but I can't support your sin. I can't support this. girls marry boys, not girls. And I'm like, well, technically, like women marry men because like children really shouldn't be getting married. But anyways, and then Brittany's just like, you know what? They did research and they say that
the New York Times, and I'm like, okay, writer.
The New York,
cite your sources, girl.
Generational turnover is the big reason for supporting gay marriage. And she's like, which is smart people way of saying we're waiting for uptight old bitches to die. And, you know, people like you can't stop us from getting married anymore, but like, you're just annoying and we can't wait for you all to die and go away.
Honestly, still relevant. I feel like, not to be political, but I feel like of the TikTok discourse has been like, we're just waiting for you boomers to die.
Yeah, it is peak Obama era optimism though.
Yeah.
Because I think in a post-Trump America, you realize that there are a lot of young people who don't like the gays, not in the same numbers.
Homophobia is not just for boomers anymore.
Yeah.
They've rebranded.
There was I think it was New York Times. I was talking about like New York hipsters who like are converting to Catholicism for the aesthetic and because they like kind of like the homophobia. And I'm like,
that tracks. That tracks.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it was a real article. I read it.
Yeah, no,
boy.
I read that, and I was just like, some of us were like born into this and are like maybe trying to make it better, and like this is our heritage that we would like to be better. And you're like, can we just like make the worst parts worse? And I'm like, thanks for that.
I mean, not to make it too much of a tangent, but like I feel like that is so par for the course because all of like the hippies in the 60s and the 70s became the yuppies of the 80s and 90s and completely reversed course. Like we're just repeating ourselves and I believe it and I hate it. And yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Because I think to some people, like they just want to be edgy. And if homophobia right now is kind of edgier than like being accepting.
But we already lived through the Glee era that was peak comedy of punching down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's upsetting. It's upsetting. And so it's like Brittany is partially right, but you're also like, this is very Obama. You did not know what was coming. You weren't ready for Judge Clarence Thomas, who had been around, but
yeah.
This conversation in general, like I liked pretty much everything leading up to this conversation in this storyline because I felt like it was emotionally sound. And then this confrontation happened and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I agree. This is where the after school special thing kind of coming in. It's like, we're hitting a theme, we're hitting a lesson really hard with a giant hammer.
You literally see it when Brittany makes a 180 in her
approach.
Thoughts, in her approach. It's literally like a complete 180 degree turn. And I'm like, oh, that's wow. Okay.
Yeah, because Brittany's also like,
that one.
She's like, oh, I'm glad that you're not going to be coming.
Because her whole thing was like, I'm gonna get to know her. I'm gonna kind of like smooth her, charm her. Then she's just like, you know what? Fuck you. Can't wait till you're dead.
But like, if like I mean, obviously this would be like being too realist. Like, if I can be like a bit more, just the fact that like she spent one day, not even a whole day with this woman, took her on her weird internet show, and then like made her watch Santana sing. And then they have this confrontation like,
yeah, I mean, not even a great performance. Yeah,
I almost like, but maybe, I love Burt Bacharach.
I was going to say maybe the only time it would be appropriate.
But like, it kind of feels like they didn't put in enough effort to like do what they should have done was like to show her that like this is real love. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna trick her to come here to talk to Santana. It should be like, I'm going to prove to you that our relationship is valid and that like we are valid and what you think is wrong. Like like she wasn't really getting to know her.
Yeah. And like, it should have been not only that this is true love, but this is also like a real thing that happens. Like, this is real hate. And there was no sort of like cathartic moment where they were grieving for that lost relationship, which I thought was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, because like I feel like it would be maybe even more painful. I don't know, but it'd be just as painful to go through this again after possibly getting her hopes up that like, oh, like she's coming to see me. Maybe we can patch this up. And then having that all torn away again. Like it's, there should be more emotional aftermath for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things where Brittany telling her off was really cathartic. You know, it's like something that every LGBT person kind of wants to do, but it's also like something you can't really do because at the end of the day, it's not very productive.
Right.
So, like this was Glee, like thinking that they were being very edgy by having this be the outcome, not having it be that she turns around and sees that love is love. They're like, no, we're gonna like have Brittany be like, actually, fuck you, without being able to say that essentially because it's Fox. But like, no, we're gonna go this edgy route, but it doesn't have any emotional payoff. It's just sort of like almost like a thrill more so than anything else.
And then Santana's just like, yeah, no, we're gonna be fine. And it's like, I would not be fine after that conversation.
Wouldn't be fine from the moment that I found out like you invited my grandma to fondue for two. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, she just kind of scowls for a few seconds and then just kind of moves past it every time it comes up.
Like, just because you intend to do something nice for someone doesn't mean that's what happens. Like, you got to think things through.
Right, like, it's not always a positive outcome like this. Like, and also, like, she gave it the old Brittany try, but like an authentic, like actually getting to know her, like, I don't know. I'm assuming this is gonna resolve or have a happy ending eventually, maybe in the next couple episodes. But it's like, I feel like they resolved it here.
And I think, like, again, Corrina and I have only gone through half the series so far, but they have put so much more gravity and investment of time into the Kurt plot line, the Karofsky thing up to this point.
Yeah.
That they kind of gloss over the Santana's queer journey of it all between she comes out to her mom, she's fine with it. She comes out to her grandma, she's not. Bummer. And then this kind of felt like a reiteration of that, where like, even though it's a whole plot line, to echo what you were saying, the investment of time, stakes, emotion is just not the same as it had been for Kurt.
Right.
It's not fair.
Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, queer women really get the short end of the stick.
Almost like the show didn't intend to put any queer women in the show in the first place, and only did it because of
the actor.
Yeah.
Being like, hello, yes, I would like to have this character represented, please, and thank you.
Well, it's like they saw like, shit, our fans really want these women to be queer, so I guess we have to.
Right. The one throwaway line that launched 1,000 ships.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. If sex were dating, Santana and I would be dating. And there you go. That's how it was born. Too bad we can't just have lesbians and bisexual women with other women a punchline. What a shame. They actually have to have dimension.
Did they try? Is this is them trying to give them dimension?
Trying, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But so basically, like, after this, they just kind of go to, it's just like the group singing to them, right? Because that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll be your family now.
Yeah. Oh, because I was like, hey, so there's a problem. Artie's like, hey, there's a problem with the seating arrangements. You know, it's not taking a seat away because Abuela's not going to be there. It's to add 8,000 more to your family table. And then they all come out and they're like, we love you. We want to be there to support you.
And then they're just like, can we be part of the wedding party?
Yeah. Rachel's like, I don't need to presumptuous. Yeah, really. Honestly, Rachel and Santana's relationship has never really been resolved, and there will be more stuff that you guys will see. But like at this point, I don't even know what the status of their friendship or relationship is. So like Rachel being like, I'm gonna be there for you. It's like, I don't know if Santana would be into that.
Mm-mm. I have a lot of questions about this scene in particular. I mean, it's nice that, you know, their friends are there to support them, but also, no, you cannot all be part of the wedding party. That's too expensive.
Well, even that, just like putting that many chairs around a table, like how big is this family table? Like, because Santana has parents, Brittany has parents. It's like, what? How is this going to work? Artie, you have to figure this out. Logistics.
Literally just choose one person. I mean, that's how it would go. Or you could do the thing where you take the chair out, which Artie said he didn't want to do. But that seems like the easiest. It's the easiest solution.
It's the one that makes the most sense too. Like, okay, so out of those people, so it's Artie, potentially Artie, but Sam, Mercedes, Rachel, Kurt, Blaine. And am I missing anyone else? Or is it just the 5 of them?
I think Kitty was up there, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah. And Kitty was there for some reason. I was like, okay. No. Santana would never let this demon at her wedding. Yeah. Because Kitty's like, oh, no, Kitty's there because she's like, oh, yeah. And then like us and the new kids, we're going to go and cater. I wanted to see Roger be like, what? What the fuck? I didn't agree to that. Like, that's what I want to see.
But like, Kitty had her hair down, and for a hot second, I was like, who is that? I did not recognize her.
So it's going to be a logistical nightmare, this wedding, if it ever happens.
I mean, my hot take is like, give that seat to Quinn.
Where's not Quinn? That makes the most sense.
Yeah. And then have the rest of the Glee Club at their own table. Done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Will was also there. It
should go to Quinn. I mean, they were
Will.
Will Schuster jump scare here.
Yes.
I literally came out of nowhere.
Thinking earlier in the episode, oh, there's no Will. That's really nice.
Same. And then I texted Corrina, Will Schuster jump scare warning. And then I think maybe after this, like it cuts to they're all at Will and Emma's place, and all of a sudden, like Will and Emma are both there. Emma.
Except, first, the baby is not the same baby as before because they had to cover its hair.
This is the funniest fucking scene.
This is the third baby I think they've gone through.
And then Emma's not the real Emma because you never see her face.
You know what? Because that was me. That was me. I wore that wig. I put the wig on and the dress and pretended to be Emma and held Brittany's ring. You know, that was me, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was
literally to be here with you today.
Yeah.
I literally was losing my mind. I was like, okay, why are we not seeing her face? I was like, oh, surely I've just missed it. I watched that sequence twice, all the way through.
I was like, oh, did I just blink at the wrong time?
That's what I thought too. But like, and then like they had that shot, like looking at Brittany's ring, and I was like, oh God, they've replaced her with some like random PA in a ginger wig or something.
That is so fucking funny. I was screaming hilarious. And I was like, is Rafa gonna come home from work and see me screaming at a Glee cover of What the World Needs Now? But it was like,
it's just so cringe.
Just like, I mean, I get it. Jayma Mays, I think, was actually filming another show at the time. I think the trial show. She was like a Southern evil antagonist lawyer lady, I think, in it.
Yeah. It's
Ed did presentation on in our sitcom class. Yeah. So yeah, good for her. So she probably wasn't available for this bit part, but it's just funny. They're like, well, it's weird. We've already shown his apartment without Emma so many times. So they just...
Yeah, so like they're like, well, we have to like make sure people know that like they're still together. All right, Emily, come here. They just pull a random PA who's like roughly Jayma Mays' size.
Close enough.
It's just
they
so
even
funny.
match the hair color? No.
They're like, no one will ever notice. And I'm like, eagle eye.
Podcasters will always notice.
I was gonna say they weren't anticipating a community of Glee podcasts 10 years later.
Not nothing even better to do later. Except for go frame by frame to see if we see Jayma Mays' face or the mystery person's face.
Okay,
but in that montage,
this is also very random. Has Jayma Mays ever played Gertrude McFuzz, or is there just a weird way that I connected in my brain?
No, it makes perfect sense. I would absolutely pay top dollar to see that. I think that's perfect casting.
Okay. I don't know why those connected, but okay. What are you saying, Hannah?
In this montage, does anything interesting happen? Because the only thing I remember is like Sam and Rachel sitting on a couch chatting.
And Mercedes is like, I approve.
Right. It literally feels pointless.
Like the whole Rachel thing was like, Mercedes got the boys together to convince her she's auditioning for a new show in New York, and now she's back in Ohio and I guess telling people about it maybe.
And maybe Kitty takes something from Artie. She forgives him.
Yes.
A plate of food.
It was like a pie or something, like clink plates.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I think some of my notes, I was so happy Will was there. Kitty and Santana, Deborah Messing, this is where Brittany says she's doing about Abuela, and Deborah Messing and something else. Those poor new kids, my life as a late season addition in a teen drama. Kitty should not have to forgive Artie.
No, absolutely not. Like, he had a text drafted to break up with her.
Yeah. Fuck Artie.
That's something to look
Terrible person. Terrible person.
And my final note is for that says the back of Emma's head. I'm screaming.
I think I have something. The same thing. Is that Emma with 7 exclamation or question marks, or is it a woman in a ginger wig? Oh, that's not Emma. We never see her face in all caps. So that's what I've got for that.
So let's get to the Rachel bullshit.
Okay.
It is.
I genuinely just thought that we skipped over it
because we didn't care.
Yeah, no exactly.
Like because we were talking about like there's no stakes here. Fine. Like we don't need to talk about it, but yes, proceed.
That's the crazy thing is that like the stakes for the Santana Brittany stuff is very loose, but like I understand it.
You get that she loves her abuela, and it's like
stakes.
Yeah, she tells Brittany, you're my family now, right? Because this whole thing, the Glee Club is a family, and please, she has a family. Toxic. She's a mother.
We're still talking about them instead of Rachel.
Yeah.
But that's things like Rachel there's no stakes. It's just crazy.
I just have
to protagonist.
Find the list of songs because I don't remember that. Okay, so Rachel and Sam are singing "I'll Never Fall in Love Again." It
happens.
Kissing, getting pneumonia. Which
Not even a minute into the episode song, I was like,
yeah,
oh my God.
Practically cold open on this song that I only know because like one of my studio teachers assigned it to a kid in our class. Like,
I
feel like the minority there.
Yeah, that didn't happen to me. I think I only know the Glee version. Oh God.
My mom likes this song.
Oh, I love that.
I have never heard any of these songs. However, I thought that I knew them and then realized I didn't.
I love it. You're like humming along and you're like, oh, that's the wrong melody. I don't know this song.
That's a different song. What is this? What am I listening to?
That's the power of Burt Bacharach, baby.
BB.
Sounds like everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kurt and Rachel are like, we're doing Burt Bacharach, and the Glee kids are like, I guess we're on the show. And Mercedes is like, I'm back to mentor y'all. And I'm like,
about Burt Bacharach.
I'm like, Mercedes.
When you think Mercedes, you think Burt Bacharach.
Yeah.
Mercedes, you're doing so well. Why are
you here?
She's number 89 on the charts. Like, come on.
Yeah. That song, what was it called?
Shaking My Head.
I hated that song. That's the one where she just says, throws it in why do Republicans hate the blacks? Yeah, it is. That song was not good. I was SMHing that song. Yeah, so Mercedes is back and they're Sam and Rachel sing I'll Never Fall in Love Again. And they're like, oh, we'll go on a date. Breadsticks. Yeah, okay. And then they both blow each other off because it's like too much to get back out there. And Sam still has feelings for Mercedes.
This is something we don't see.
Yeah.
It's totally just, they're telling you. And I'm like, this is great. I love that.
Well, because Sam's like, I want to apologize for blowing you off. And I thought he was about to cancel. Like, I thought he was canceling the date. They just
didn't show.
And we're just like, I blew you off. They couldn't.
Yeah.
But, okay. I mean, I guess they have history as people who know each other, but like if I had a date and like they blew me off, not even like, sorry, I can't make it, just like stood me up.
No text.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, so we're not dating.
Yeah,
we're not friends.
We're not interested. This is a no-go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the no text back is that is one of my like ultimate like, oh, okay, like I'll take almost any excuse, but if you're not even gonna give me an excuse, like,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. And so she's like, I'm scared to get back out there. And Mercedes is back and she's all like, hi, my personality in the past couple of seasons has mainly become about supporting you, even though we did not get along sometimes before. Nope. Anyways, she's like, I got you an audition on Broadway for a new original musical. Hit
list?
Ooh.
From Smash?
Ooh. Which I think would have been a way better season 5 plot if she was in an original musical as opposed to Funny Girl.
Yeah.
Because it would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah, it would have.
Like if she was in some kind of indie off-Broadway musical that did well and made its way to Broadway, a la Hit List.
Sleeper hit.
Yeah, featuring More Friends Than You Know. Marley original.
Oh God.
So she's like, I'm gonna sing this. So she sings Baby It's You to Rachel with Rachel, Brittany, and Santana as her backup.
Yeah,
that was the funniest fucking thing to me.
She literally is like in the choir room, like, hey, we have a surprise for you. And I thought it was like, oh, we're gonna be singing it to you. You're gonna be the audience. That she's literally wearing this awful wig and she's singing it along with them. There's no one in the audience, and then the song is over, and Mercedes turns to her and is like, hey, go get him, Tiger. And I'm like,
it took me a good 30 seconds to realize that the third backup singer was Rachel.
I was like,
wait, have you ever seen her?
That was so out of character. Like, regardless of how Rachel's doing, I do not believe for a millisecond that Rachel would have agreed to be backup for anybody.
Absolutely. I 1,000% agree with you. And
like, I was like, it's Sugar. I was convinced Sugar was back.
Oh my God.
That would have been the ultimate throwback.
Yes.
I also watched this fully believing it was going to be like non-diegetic. Like, oh, look at the fun fantasy sequence they're having, like, in these fun costumes.
Most diegetic.
And then it ends and they start talking to each other. I'm like, they actually went through the effort to put on these wigs and costumes and dress this set to sing this song to nobody.
In the middle of the school day,
number.
Presumably.
Yeah. Rachel's like working. This is her job.
I mean, barely. These Glee kids are not getting any attention from their teachers.
And she's not getting paid, so
no, she's just sort of there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
She's a volunteer.
So, it's just so wild. And then Rachel's like, thanks for doing this. I really needed it. But no. And then she just like walks away.
And then
leaving Mercedes to clean this all up. Mercedes doesn't work here.
I don't understand why she is like refusing until we have the scene where she explains why. Yes. But that doesn't happen until the end of the storyline.
And we consider this our A plot, correct? Is this our A plot today? Plot.
Probably, yeah. It's supposed to be, I think.
Our protagonist for this show now. So
I mean,
we're very much
been
the protagonist of the season.
The protagonist since kind of like halfway through season 1.
Yeah.
And they botched it season 2, episode 1. With the Sunshine Crack House plot.
Oh yeah, never forget.
That's a real turning
literally
point.
Can't.
Yeah. Because if I went to school with Rachel, I would never forget the time she sent some girl to a crack house.
No, I would be talking about it all the time.
It would absolutely be the kind of thing where like we bring it up all the time. We're like, what? We're just roasting you because we're friends.
But like we all call you crack
but we all
house
hate
girl.
You. It would be in the yearbook every single year until she graduated. And then after she graduated, we would just have her in there honorary, just like hey,
urban legend.
We would be like, here's the address of our 10-year high school reunion, and it would be that crack house, or it would be a different crack house, but like it would absolutely be
another crack house. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then like someone would text her, be like, "LOL, JK, like we're all at breadsticks coming through."
At least it wasn't an active crack house winky face.
Right.
Tina would do that, and I want her to do that.
It would be Tina, and I would be here for it.
Yeah, Tina and Quinn are just doing that together.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So so Mercedes comes up to the boys, and it's like, hey, I'm here. I'm Rachel's emotional support Black person this week. We are singing this song to her. And she's also telling Rachel she needs to date Sam. And Rachel's like, well, he still kind of feels for you. And she's like, we're just friends. I've moved on, which is fair on Mercedes' part. But maybe Rachel should just, I don't know, go on Tinder and like date someone she didn't go to high school with.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. I mean,
universe impossible.
Was that before or after they stood each other up?
And that was
this conversation
after. Yeah.
Well, then what's the point?
Well, because she's like, I'm telling you to like, I told you to get back out there last season. I'm like, whoa, that's a long memory for Glee. But like,
yeah. So she's talking to the students who go to this school, and both Postmodern Gay and Roderick are like, why the fuck are we here? I cried. It was so funny.
Them and Blaine, because Blaine appears out of nowhere with the super brief caveat.
2 hours from the Columbus area to come here to Lima.
The brief caveat of like, I invited Blaine. Hope you're okay with that, Kurt. And then Blaine just shows up to be like theater kid energy on 11 because he's in the one number that they all sing for Rachel, I guess. And
Arthur's
then he's like,
theme, which isn't the everyday when you're walking down the street, which is what they should have done.
Better. It would have been a better choice. And then like, again, in the end, for all of them to be like, we're your family now, like fully in a Seasons of Love line theater kid energy thing, which that sent me fucking laughing.
But like Kurt is like supposedly Rachel's best friend, and Mercedes isn't even like teaming up with him directly, like, hey, we got to get Rachel out of this funk. Kurt doesn't even like speak except for that last part. It's hilarious.
Kurt's like so not involved. Kurt doesn't give a shit. Chris Colfer is checked out this season.
Yeah,
he's just like, I'm here.
I'm here to collect my paycheck. Thank you. And I don't blame him.
Did they know that they were only doing half as many episodes this season? Was that the order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see him being like,
so he's just like,
many? Fine.
Yep. He's like, she's like, okay, cool. I only have 7 more episodes.
He was probably already writing the children's books and publishing them at this point, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. I think he was still on Glee when he did that.
He was in the
He was
Land
like,
of
I have
Stories.
better stuff to do.
Yeah. He constructed an elaborate fantasy so he didn't have to think about being in the world of Glee. Which same boy. So yeah, they sing Arthur's theme, and she has lots of flashbacks to season 2 and 3 of like going to New York. And I'm like, remember when like I gave kind of a shit about Rachel and like when there were stakes to this show and this like youthful energy.
It's funny that that's what you got from the montage. I got this is a Rachel in New York hats montage. It's just an ode to all her hats.
Yo, and that's how Corrina and I left off season 3 was because like that's some full Mary Tyler Moore energy. We were waiting for her to like throw her hat up in the air.
Yeah.
It's it's just like this show just feels so old and tired at this point, especially this episode with these Burt Bacharach songs. Yeah, it's like, give me a Katy Perry Teenage Dream album. I'm sure there's a song on there you haven't covered. So then Rachel's like, I'm still not ready for New York. I can't, but then she has this talk with Mercedes and she's like, I'm just scared because everyone was this is actually like decent character work. It's kind of it's kind of a cheat when you have to have the character like explain exactly their motivations.
She decided to go to New York because of the song, even though she like didn't want to admit it. And then Mercedes walks in on her basically like, I'm about to leave.
Yeah,
she's having a mental breakdown.
She's freaking out because she's planning to go to New York because she decided to go, and then she's like freaking out to the max and starts crying. And Mercedes like, what's wrong? And then we get the explanation of why she doesn't want to do anything, which is that she's scared of failing. Which
newsflash, aren't we all?
Yeah,
same girl.
Yeah. It was like, but honestly, it was one of her most human moments, but it just did not come off well because it was at the wrong point of the storyline.
Yeah, because she's like, I put myself, like, I always was like, I'll be a star in New York, right? Like, and everyone's making fun of me, but I'm a loser like me. I'm going to win. And then she gets on Broadway and then she ruins her own dream.
Yeah, she's unprofessional.
And then she's like, oh, I ruined it. And so she's scared to go back out there, which is fair. Now, it's like they're trying to tie that in with her dating, but like Finn...
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work because like it's Finn's death and like that's its own trauma of like losing someone, you know? So it's...
You can't lump those things together.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's probably some overlap, but like they are two separate things that happened to her. And like, I think Alyssa's right. Like where this comes in the story makes no sense because really she should be having this mental breakdown. Just like, not even like, she's not planning to go to New York. Like just like the thought of doing this, you know, this audition could scare her enough. And Mercedes like, what's going on? Like she could storm out of this number and just be freaking out. Yeah. And then Mercedes like, no, like go. And then she takes the ticket and goes.
You know what'd be really interesting? If we see this breakdown for an audition that's like a community theater thing right there. That would make it so much more poignant, you know, because it's an audition that doesn't even really matter in the scheme of her life, but it's still something where you'd be able to see the trauma. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want from the show.
I don't know if you're going to get it. Well,
I think so.
Trauma? Yeah, you're going to get lots of trauma. Couple more episodes.
She sings Promises, then storms off to New York for the millionth musical to New York montage.
Not wearing a hat this time.
Not wearing a hat. Character growth. And so she sings Promises, and she's like, yeah, I feel like I really killed it. And she asks Mercedes to run the Glee Club, and Mercedes is like, well, what about Kurt? And she's like, he needs somebody to collaborate
Basically,
with.
Basically, she say, I don't want them to just be doing Into the Woods or something like that.
And I'm like, but you had them do Burt Bacharach Into the Woods.
So it's like,
no,
better.
do an Into the Woods week. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Check out my Gleeboot post where I said they should have done Into the Woods instead of West Side Story in season 3 and cast everyone.
I love that.
Because it would have made, if I had that Glee Club to put on a musical, I would do one with a lot of leads, like Into the Woods, not like a West Side Story. Yeah. With like 2 main female characters. Yeah.
It's because Shu hates all the other students. That's why.
So Mercedes running the Glee Club. Sam sings Close to You. I long to be close to you. And he's standing on the football players so he can like look through the window and watch her. But she looks at him and smiles, so she knows he's doing it.
Which is I can imagine her being like, oh, he's standing on football players again.
I was like,
oh, Sam.
What a doofy doof.
Was this an excuse to have a full scroll up of his body? Maybe.
Knowing Ryan Murphy, probably.
I'm like, I'm not complaining, but still, it's Because I thought it was supposed to be, he has feelings for Rachel and Mercedes. Then it's just he's singing to Mercedes, and she's like, "That's not a Friends song." Which
I was really confused by that transition because I definitely thought it was like a Rachel thing, and then I was like, "Oh wait."
I wish Rachel had said that after Finn sang Jesse's Girl directly at her. That's not a Friends song. And so she's like, he's like, "I haven't dated anyone since you," which actually that's like an interesting character thing that he's still really hung up on her. And she's like, I've met this Christian singer. He's saving himself till marriage.
He's got a big booty.
He's got a big booty.
His name is Tank.
Because Sam basically asks like if he's like, he said if he's bigger than me, which my first thought was, is he asking about his penis?
Yes.
But I'm
and
like,
I was like, wait a second.
They would have done that.
They wouldn't do genital
they
stuff.
They didn't have sex, but they did live and sleep together.
That's true. So she may have seen it. And maybe they did some stuff.
Is Sam's butt a plot line here? Like, is that a through line that I'm missing?
No.
I mean, there's just been a lot of butt jokes. And so she's just like, no, he's bigger. Like, I guess I'm like, is it supposed to be like he's fatter? Like just a bigger.
I don't know.
I basically had the same journey you did where I thought they were talking about, his junk. And then I was like, wait, is it like his entire body? What's happening?
Well, because then she's like, they call him Tank. And I'm like, he's asking like, is he more muscly than me? Like, is he in better shape? And I'm like, he's like super muscly, and like Sam's muscly too, but it's like, I can't believe it was a guy who's musclier than me. And then she says, your little white ass was like an outlier. And I'm like, so is he chubbier? And then Sam says, I can't believe I'm losing to a guy. It was just weird. It was a weird conversation. It was
very strange.
Well, because Sam was like, one moment I can touch your boobs and the other I can't. And this is where sometimes there's dumb Sam that can be really charming, but when sometimes they veer and it's like they're just trying to have him say dumb bro jock things, but it doesn't really fit with how he presents himself most of the time.
Yeah, because he's just like a sweetheart, a lovable sweetheart usually.
Yeah, so like
golden retriever, if you will.
I'm like, and he's not 16 anymore, so he's old enough to be like, yes, you can date someone and then be touching their boobs and then be no longer with them, and it would be weird to touch their boobs, and that's not that weird. That's not a crazy
PSA.
thought.
Yeah. But then the conversation basically goes to like, we're friends. Like, it's fine. It's cool that we can talk about this. Mercedes is like, I want you to go and find people. Like, how do you feel about Rachel? He's like, I guess she's okay. But he does not like her.
That's what I wrote.
3 weeks ago, whenever this was, he was hypnotized to try to be in love with her. He does not like this woman.
Yes,
I still see her as a petulant 16-year-old. So
valid. And like, and I mean, like, while it's cute that like they're both like, yeah, I'm a little jealous of you. Well, I'm a little jealous of you. It's like, for what?
Yeah. It's just. I wrote, stop trying to force Sam chill on me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, I'm totally against the idea of Sam and Rachel dating, but the way they do it just feels so much like we got two hot singles left, slam them together like a Barbie, like smashing with a Ken. Like,
I really think that like Rachel has like zero chemistry with anyone. Like, it feels like she's just like a shell.
Well, because I think she kind of had chemistry with Jonathan Groff.
Yes. But they have a very established relationship as the actors, so that plays out. I think she and Corey Monteith had a good chemistry. Obviously, that played out.
I think Corey was putting more of the effort in.
Right.
Because he was better at being like charming and dumb and love struck, and Rachel just kind of came across as like kind of crazy. Which is also maybe how the writers like be boys and girls. So I don't know.
But like Rachel doesn't have friend chemistry with people. Like her and Mercedes hanging out, forced. Even like when we see it like earlier on, like I was like, I don't believe this at all.
And there was a little bit like I found some chemistry. I found some really sweet moments between her and Quinn in like seasons 2 and 3. But of course, like Diana was 1 foot out the door that whole time. So that's not going to develop.
Yeah, Diana was out, so they're not going to bring... Because, again, this storyline would probably make more sense with Quinn being like, you should go to Broadway. You know, because that's the thing. I think they keep trying to bring Mercedes back, which of course, because she's great, but like Mercedes' whole energy is not the energy of someone who goes back to their high school.
Yeah. It's no, because especially like the fact that she said she was on tour before.
Yeah.
Like she's doing her thing. Like, sure, she probably has time to go back, but it's like, why would she? What is here for her? Literally nothing. Like her parents. But like her close friends,
she barely
did she
even
have anyone really.
Her and Kurt were friends for a while, and her and Tina. And I believe Mercedes and Tina keep in touch, but Mercedes and Kurt very much fell off after graduation.
Yeah, because Kurt became like besties with Rachel, but again, also like Kurt doesn't do anything in this episode, and that really sticks out because, like you said, like the emotional support Black person, like. Usually it's the emotional support gay man, but it's like, I don't know. They clearly have more friendship with Kurt and Rachel developed.
She's suddenly so interested in Sam and Rachel's lives and like pushing them forward. And she has no goals of her own. She has nothing that she's doing for herself. It's all to support these white people. And like, so I think even I try, and sometimes we're just trying to make fun, but I do try and criticize in good faith. But like, this is really bad. Like, this is pretty bad writing in that like, she is only there to support the white people. Like Santana, at least, even if Brittany's leading the storyline, it is about like Santana's feelings. Like Santana has wants and goals. Mercedes is just there to like egg them on, and they don't even have enough of a friendship for that to feel real.
Right. Yeah. Like with Kurt, it would feel more real. He's like, you've been too depressed. Like Mercedes told me about this audition. Like you need to go on it. Well, that would make sense.
And so literally last week, Kitty is like, I can't go back. Or maybe I can't remember if it's Hurt Locker part 1 or 2, but Kitty's like, I can't go back to Glee Club because you're just going to ditch us. It's the moment the rest of the world comes calling. And that's what Rachel's doing. They kind of say, oh, you can finish out the year. But like, they haven't even gotten to sectionals yet.
And Mercedes is like, she's like, oh yeah, sectionals isn't for 5 weeks. They're going to be fine. I'm like, 5 weeks?
Right. I mean,
that's not a lot of days to practice.
But credit to them. Like, I feel like all of season 2 and 3, we had all of these one-off episodes, and Corrina and I keep on coming back to, shouldn't you be preparing for a competition?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
And they're like, yeah, sectionals is in like a week and a half. And I'm like, so you probably shouldn't be doing a deep dive into Madonna. You should probably consider your set list for sectionals.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this is even worse because we're on episode 6 of the season and there are 13, right, Cullen?
Yeah.
We're halfway. We are hitting this halfway mark and they're 5 weeks out from sectionals. So it's like, I have no fucking clue what's happening this season.
I don't think they're going past sectionals. I think. I
No,
don't know.
they can't. They don't have enough time. I mean, if they did, that would be amazing. Actually, that's
hilarious
what I want.
if they did.
Just
They're like, hey, this week sectionals. Next week, regionals. The week after that, filler episode because we've got plenty of time. Next week, nationals.
And we're done.
Run a season of Glee.
Good work, everybody.
Woo! That's a wrap.
Yeah. So they're back and she's like, yeah, I felt so good about that audition. And my favorite part is Court in the background just like pouring a ton of creamer in his coffee.
It was
sugar, which again, someone who looks like that, someone who looks like that is not pouring that much sugar in their morning coffee, but I digress. But like, it was like, again, we have this whole theory that they didn't really write anything for Cord this season. They just like put him in scenes and he's improvising all his dialogue.
Cord, yeah.
And like, he's just doing, cause he was like sniffing jock straps and like he's just doing weird shit in the background. Yeah. He's just like weird in the background. That's a different episode. Yeah.
Not this episode.
Okay.
Something he says in this episode shook me to my core. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. He says something early on the episode. It's like, oh, I have to go. I'm teaching health class.
Yes.
Sam's teaching health class.
I had that note too, and I was like, I missed a lot.
He doesn't have a degree. He's not an actual teacher. He doesn't have like a certificate to teach.
He's an
just there
football coach.
He should not. They have a gym teacher. There is a gym teacher who should be teaching health class or a science teacher, whatever. This young man, no.
Who just was confused that now that you're an ex.
He can't touch boobs.
Yeah.
He can't touch her boobs. So
wow.
Disturbing.
Ohio be Ohioing.
It do.
It do. Pulls Ohio mud.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically they're like, yeah. And then she feels good about her audition. And again, Kitty doesn't call her out. That actually would be an interesting storyline. Rachel gets the audition. She's like nervous. She does it. And then Kitty's like, the fuck? You missed rehearsal for a week to go audition in New York. I just joined the club. Like, there's something you could do with the premise of Rachel taking Will's role and like leading a Glee Club, but they have such little interest in these kids.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then the Sam and Rachel thing, they decide, you know what, let's reschedule breadsticks for next Thursday. Will they ghost each other? We'll have to find out.
I do love when people make dates in TV shows because it's always like, yeah, Thursday, not like, okay, let me check my schedule. Even as someone, I don't have a calendar, it's all mental, and I kind of need to get one because my brain hurts a lot lately. But like, you're kind of like, okay, let me think. Okay, yeah. And then what time? This is LA, but what's the parking situation? Like,
I love my favorite thing is always like, it's my favorite trope. Oh, I'll pick you up at 7. Do you have my address? Are you stalking me?
Yeah. In New York, it would be what borough or what neighborhood is that in? Because then you cut back to like me going like, oh, God damn it, I have to go to Brooklyn tonight.
Yeah, like so that determines what time I can do it and if I'm free that night, because what time do I get off work?
Commuting.
And where do I get? Yeah. That's why sometimes I record these episodes at work, because like if it's after work hours and we're doing like, I'm like, I can't make it home in time. Yeah. So, okay. That's it. Really, there's not much else. This is filler to get to I don't know what. I don't know what is the goal we're working towards. Because that's like when listening to that Nationals episode, I just listened to their episode on Props and Nationals and thinking about Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, which I admit is also one of the best Glee performances. And like thinking of everything building up and everything that was like riding on that performance, whether it was like real stakes, like Rachel getting Miata, or just like their personal like teen senior stakes, like how real that felt. And then you're like, what is this bullshit going on now?
Yeah.
Right.
Who am I supposed to care about and what am I supposed to care about? I have no idea.
It's just like some shows, like you can put an NCIS on autopilot, but a show like Glee really shouldn't have been put on autopilot. And Ryan Murphy was not invested at this point. So it was on autopilot.
Right. And like, I mean, through all 6 seasons, like you have stuff that they're working towards every time. There's plenty. And if you're adding music to it, there's so much to do. Like, do better.
Yeah, this is such a good premise of a show. So like the fact that you can complain about the first 3 seasons, but at least they were utilizing the premise. But like here, it's like, what are you doing? Like you're just wasting everyone.
What is our goal? Like where are we aiming toward? And I mean, this puts a lot of like pressure on this one event happening, but like Corey Monteith's death like really threw them for a loop, and like it kind of, they didn't know what to do. And so like I feel like we're still feeling the effects of that. They still haven't really found their footing again, but it's like with the story, but it's like,
I mean, they've had
plenty of time to figure it out though, since like to come up with something more concrete that we can all root for.
Well, they have a good premise for season 6. They're just not fully delivering.
Yeah.
Remind me, when did Corey Monteith pass?
When they were filming the beginning of season 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like the 3rd episode of season 5, I think, is the quarterback. So, I mean, that's like, okay, we have to rewrite basically all of season 5 or whatever we've written so far. And then, okay, you have all that break because they took a long break between season 5 and 6 coming out, right?
Yeah.
Cullen?
6 came out winter 2015. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like they had more time. Yeah, because they had like almost a whole year, right?
Yeah, it's just, I get that their goal, the initial end of the series was Rachel goes on Broadway, Finn becomes the new teacher, she comes back, and she comes back into the choir room and says, I'm home. And that was how the show was supposed to end. But
it's not like they wanted to use one of the Glee kids Peach's New Directions plot they had for Finn, but they couldn't use it on Finn. So like, what if we make Rachel do it and it just doesn't land the same way?
It doesn't, and I get that choice and it makes sense. But if you're gonna do that, commit to that.
Yeah, because it's like they have one foot in, like, oh well, but Rachel's this big Broadway girl, and then this other thing is like, well, but she also still has a heart for
the Glee Club.
The Glee Club.
But we're also gonna spend a whole storyline on Brittana, which again, it's fine. Like it was the better half of the episode, but like if you're gonna introduce all these characters, give them storylines.
Yeah, or don't introduce them at all and keep the kids you had last season.
Yeah, I'm like, because they could have added them. And then if you had Marley and Jake and Ryder and Kitty and Unique, you could have had a full Glee Club. Because they still don't have enough people.
And they are 5 weeks out from sectionals. So
I'm glad to see some things never change.
Nope.
How they fill the club is going to be wild. I don't think you're going to guess how they fill the club.
Okay.
Okay, so Tina time.
Yay.
Big zip.
Tina wasn't here. If Tina was here,
wasn't even mentioned.
She'd be like, Rachel, I really built you up to get into Niata, and then you dropped it. So I don't know if I'm going to build you up for this audition.
She should literally be like, I sacrificed my dignity to stalk Carmen Thibodeau, played by Whoopi Goldberg. That's what happened.
No, yes. That's so precious in my mind.
Tina,
we talk about that scene all the time.
Again, I think we also have said that like Tina like hears or senses things at Brown. She's like, Rachel, you bitch. Because she's like, I did all this work for you and you're screwing it up again.
I wanted Carmen Thibodeau, played by Whoopi Goldberg, when Rachel was like, I'm going to drop Niata, to be like, call your friend. Let me talk to your friend. The girl that stalked me.
And then on the phone. I would absolutely talk about this.
I would absolutely be here for Tough Love Tina as her new character trope.
Yes.
Yeah,
that
would be awesome.
What we need.
Also, yeah,
that's the Gleeboot, baby.
Tina telling Rachel to get back to New York would also make more sense than Mercedes, guys. But it would be different. It wouldn't be like, girl, you need to get back out there. It'd be like, Rachel, you've spent all of high school talking about your Broadway dreams. If I had to fucking listen to it for 3 years, you can't just give that shit up. You owe it to me.
Like you failed.
Like Tina fully just breaking and being like, okay, listen, bitch.
Ripping your hair out.
Yeah.
I got you an audition through Mike's dance teacher at the school in Chicago.
I went through an entire dream sequence where I was you and you were me. And how do you thank me for it? I came to terms with doing all the costumes for you to be the star. For what, Rachel?
Yeah. Tina's not having any of this, but she's also not here to say it.
Yeah, so there were two routes. There was Tina being like, fuck you, Rachel, I'm going to get your life together. And then, you know what? Not my problem anymore. Washed my hands.
And maybe the latter's the better off one.
Oh, I certainly hope she's okay up there in Brown.
Yeah, I'm sure she is.
Cut out your toxic friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Remember when she was upset about being surrounded by death and Emma said, you might be callous? Yeah. Okay, so MVPs and LVPs. Ian, who is your least valuable player this week?
I mean, it's Rachel just because default. It is. That's that.
Yeah, fair. Corrina, who's your least valuable player? I was like, I can't tell if she's on mute or if that is just the quietest baby.
No, I think my least valuable player this week is gonna be Blaine, who showed up to do just enough to like remember he's there, but not enough to really justify why he was there.
Yeah, he even has a little thing where like Kurt's like, oh, hi Blaine, you're here at Will's apartment.
That's kind of how we left off the episode.
Yeah.
They have like an awkward hug.
It's wild considering where they'll be in a couple episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. Their relationship is really weird. So I have a couple people on here. I want to say Shu because obviously, because he appeared. I mean, Abuela, I think obviously takes the cake for me. It's just like, she's just not doing the thing that she should be, and that's supporting her granddaughter. But I also put fake Emma take second place because imposters.
Yeah, I mean, I think I gotta go with Abuela. It's obvious. She's not being a good grandma. She's not being a good person. That's it.
I think, Rachel, because there are multiple Glee Clubs. She's running the Glee Club now, and there are multiple performances about her and her friends and their feelings. And she's not giving the kids space to express their feelings and what they're going through, which is the whole point of Glee Club.
It's a high school club.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is so on brand for her because this is what she did when she was in high school. She would hijack the club to talk about her feelings. So on brand.
This is the only way she knows how to process anything.
Yeah.
With unwilling people involved.
A strange
emotional sabotage.
A strange coincidence. I realized when we were talking about this episode that Santana's abuela is named Alma. That's also the name of the grandmother, the abuela in Encanto, who is has emotional problems connecting with her family. So that's maybe just what you name emotionally complex grandmothers is Alma.
Maybe. Makes sense.
Or that's the only name for old ladies that any writers know.
Ian, who's your MVP, your most valuable player?
So I forget that sometimes you guys actually respond to this seriously. My MVPs are all of the new Glee Club members who I don't know that just showed up this week to get their check. Big props for you. Also, I mean, my serious one would be probably Brittany because I just love seeing her have stuff to do. I like it. Like you said, it is very Obama era optimism, but she put in the work this week. It's so much she's so much more developed than seasons 1 and 2. So it's great to see that. So those are my 2 answers for you today.
It's funny you said we answer them seriously. At one time we did have an inanimate object as an MVP or
multiple
LVP.
Times.
Sweaters.
Right.
So
I mean pizza that burned Will's mouth.
Another MVP I would say would be Imposter Emma because because how long did we talk? What the composite time of how much we talked about Imposter Emma?
At least 5 minutes.
Corrina, who's your MVP?
One of my MVPs is also Roderick, my favorite member of New Glee Club member, both for being willing to talk over postmodern gay and for wearing a button-up shirt that is covered in playing cards and taking that seriously. Also, Will and Emma's new baby.
Their third baby. I went with Brittany for Queso por Dos. Calling out Abuela because yes, that's a good thing that she did. She stood up for her fiance. I guess I want to give her a gold star for trying to help mend that relationship, but it does kind of feel a bit invasive that does Santana actually consent to this, or does she just not want to deal with it? But my main MVP is Jennifer Coolidge for gracing us with her presence.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty's mom.
Yeah, very pretty, and you're not very bright. I'm glad we had this talk. Haven't even seen that full movie, but iconic.
You haven't? Oh my god.
No. Yeah. Allyssa, MVP?
I'm going with Lord Tubington. Yeah, he had a ton of screen time this episode. Like I would say arguably more screen time than Kurt, which is, I mean,
argument there.
Get your money.
Yeah, good Lord Tumington.
He did great. There was so much going on with him this episode. I was invested.
I feel like so honorable mention to Sam's little white boy ass that we saw in that long shot up. But Imposter Emma for me, that is the funniest thing that has happened in this show. It is so fucking funny. I love it so much. Yeah, that's Imposter Emma, queen of my heart. Yeah. Iconic, yeah. All right. I want Imposter Emma, if you're out there, please message us.
We want you
come on both of our shows. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll do a massive crossover. We're not even talking about an episode. We're just interviewing Imposter Emma about her experience.
So tell us, how did Ryan Murphy break the news to you?
It will also be 2
Imposter
hours,
Emma?
I'm sure.
Yes.
At least.
All right. How did you get into character to be Imposter Emma? Okay.
She's just like this.
She does the entire interview. We only see the back of her head.
What else have we seen you in? Please tell us. We wouldn't know.
What if it was Jennifer Coolidge? No. Okay. All right. So the music this week. Watch me pull up the Glee Wiki. Okay. I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Baby It's You. Wishing and Hoping. Arthur's theme, but not the good one. They Long to Be Close to You. Promises, Promises. Alfie. What the World Needs Now.
How many songs is that?
7?
8.
8 songs?
8.
Oh my God.
Burt Bacharach songs. And they never had a Taylor Swift episode. 1989 was out. They had 1989.
That is
Red,
a song.
Speak Now.
Every 5
Fearless.
minutes.
Yeah.
That is a song like almost every 5 or 6 minutes.
Oh, they didn't even do one of the best Burt Bacharach songs after all of that.
But they did the one
on my head.
Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah.
right. That is him.
And that's a surprise.
And they did the one that was the title of the episode. I'm like, you guys just worked backwards from that title. Good for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like that song. Hot take.
No.
I'm the reverse. Like, that's the only song in this episode that I'm like, yeah, I fucks with this song. For some reason, that song hits me every time.
So what's your LVP? What song do you not fucks with?
Oh God. Oh God. Can you list them for me one more time? I'm sorry.
No, it is all good because they literally leave your brain the moment you say them. Okay. I'll Never Fall in Love Again. Baby It's You. Wishing and Hoping. Arthur's theme. They Long to Be Close to You. Promises,
Arthur's
Promises.
theme because I do not know I don't remember that one at all.
That's the one about New York City.
Yeah.
Still don't remember it.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
No apology.
It's by Christopher Cross, who early in the show, Brittany was like, discovered America.
Right. Right. I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Corrina.
My favorite of these is actually Wishing and Hoping, not because I just like that song. And I do think it was like the best production number in this episode.
What's your least favorite? We do least favorite. Yeah.
Oh, my least favorite is for sure Baby It's You. Because it made no sense as why it's here and it wasn't that good either way.
Oh, what is that again? I don't even remember.
That's the Mercedes one where they're where Rachel's back up.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your least favorite too, Alyssa?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't remember. Okay, I remember now the first 3 and the rest of them are out of my brain. The only reason I remember that one is because it was literally just explained to me. But also, like, yeah, Rachel was backup singer, made no sense. The whole thing just didn't make sense. And it's just like not a fun song. None of them were really great in my opinion. Can I go with all of them? Can all of them be my LVP?
Oh, Hannah,
I went with Arthur's Theme. Did not know what the title was. I literally called it the NYC Love Song. That one, I hated it. Did not like it. I also didn't like the weird one where Rachel was backup singer. I didn't like many of them. Also didn't like What the World Needs Now. I didn't think it was a good cover, and I feel very meh about that song in general.
Yeah, I'm going with Alfie because Santana trying to like get back in her boyless life. There's so much good music out there that you could have used for that. And we just got this boring cover.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't she have sung like a Spanish song that maybe like her and her abuela used to sing together?
Yeah, actual emotional connection, not just Alma's favorite Burt Bacharach song.
Because even when we did the alleged Spanish music episode, it was like Madonna.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, she did what? La Isla Bonita, right?
Yeah. Our guest gave us a whole list of Spanish music they should have done.
And we were like, thank you. And also Glee should be thanking you.
All right. So Ian, was your favorite song What the World Needs Now?
It was. Sorry about it. And like mostly because the other ones, like I just didn't care for any other one. But man, that song hits me.
I mean, it's fair because we still feud about the fact that I like the Glee version of Sing and the Singing in the Rain umbrella mashup.
Yo, the Glee cover of Sing, my favorite one. That's my favorite song they've done. And Corrina every time looks at me like I have 3 heads, and I'm okay with it.
It's so good.
We're talking about the My Chemical Romance Sing
yes.
song, right? Okay. I mean, I don't mind that cover.
The Tina and Mike one is also a fine cover of Sing from Chorus Line. Yeah.
My favorite musical, but
Singing in the Rain umbrella, can't get behind it. Sorry.
Sucks to be wrong. Corrina, so your favorite song was Wishin' and Hopin', that one?
Yes, although I will also give a special shout out to Promises, just because like the revival of that was happening like my freshman year of college. And so it just occupies a weird amount of space in my brain that like, oh yeah, remember when that was something that existed out in the world? So I think about it from time to time. I don't interact with it, but it just lives there rent free.
Okay.
Love that for you.
Am I wrong? Isn't Say a Little Prayer for You from Promises?
Yeah.
Yes. The iconic Quinn cover.
So it is like, the first one they sing, Never Gonna Fall in Love Again. That's also on the show.
And is Turkey Lurkey Time? Turkey Lurkey Time from a musical, yeah.
That's from Promises.
Yes. From
it's
the
my favorite
mashup.
Thanksgiving song. Let's have a Kiki, Turkey Lurkey Time, greatest song ever. Just throwing that out there. My favorite was Wishin' and Hopin'. It was the only one I sung to.
Is that the Heaven one?
Yeah.
The Heaven themed one? That's also my favorite. But not because I like the song, only because I was
Lord Tubington was there.
Lord Tubington was there. He stole the entire sequence. But like the production value was also very high. And I kind of missed that. I was like, where did all the money go? Oh, it's in this song.
Got it.
They Long to Be Close to You was like a good cover, I guess. Like you could play that in a Kohl's and I'd enjoy it. But
Kohl's.
Yeah.
I love that. I love Kohl's.
I mean, it would, right?
Okay, when was the last time you were at a Kohl's?
I mean, it was when I lived in the suburbs of New York, so a while ago.
I went to one a couple of months ago here in Indiana, and wow, just nostalgia of school shopping.
Oh my God.
Just hit me so hard. Like my body dysmorphia flared up, like all the bad things. But the deals, I mean, we did save a lot of money.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Those deals for reals.
I think I'll Never Fall in Love Again was my favorite because it was like cute and funny. And if it was about a relationship I was a little more invested in.
Right.
I think you could have just done that for a Bacharach song. I don't know. Like, I think you could have done like a regular episode and just thrown in this one kind of class A, like, old-timey song. Because Sam does well with those, even though I know our listeners didn't like Something Stupid, but I did, I think. Maybe I said it was the worst song in the episode. Who knows? I can't remember. All right. So that's everything for What the World Needs Now. Glee Aggressive. Where can people find your podcast?
Yeah. So look for Glee Aggressive, wherever you stream podcasts. And we are on the socials media at Glee Aggressive, specifically Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, that's the long and short of it. We're all three of the first. Sorry, wow. For the entire first 3 seasons are out now, and we're starting to get ready for season 4. So look out for that.
Appreciate it.
You guys on.
Nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
please have us on in season 4 because I cannot do season 5 again.
Episode.
I could do guilty pleasures. I can do what's the other one? The superhero one. Do dynamic duets.
Yeah,
maybe
let us
one of
know.
those.
Let us know which episodes you want to be on.
Any episode, as long as it's not season 5 or 6.
Honestly, yes.
Yeah. Or shooting star.
No, well, yeah, I feel like no. I think we did that alone, right? We're like,
we're like,
I don't want to get into this.
That was interesting.
So that's something interesting for you to have.
Again, memory problems and haven't done it yet.
I will put them in when we send you our thank you for being a guest email. I will put in our All right.
You can follow Gleeboot on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Gleeboot Pod. You can also follow us on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
Love that.
What else is going on? No, that's
you. Cullen, where can people find you?
Oh, Cullen Ever After. It's me. Cullen Ever After on Instagram. Your boy Ryan99 on TikTok. Considering of resurrecting that character in like screenplay format for a commentary on influencer culture. So let me know if that interests you.
Interesting. Follow me at a.m.swearingen for some more art content because I'm actually putting things out sort of, kind of, every once in a while.
It's great. You have to go check it out, listeners.
Tune in next week. We will be talking about transitioning with grad school classmate Nick Bennett, who has been wanting to be on this particular episode since we started the podcast.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So looking forward to that. Glee Aggressive, thank you so much for coming on. We hope you had fun.
Thank you so much for having us.
Always have fun.
And, stay connected to the call we're going to talk about some special things we have planned for the Gleeboot finale. So just a little teaser for the listeners. All right. Well, see you all next week. Bye.
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 Gleeboot.